What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about altcoins in this video. Alt season. Alt season is upon us, right? The fabled, legendary alt season. For a lot of first timers, if this is your first bull cycle, alt season has left a sour taste in your mouth. Anybody who's been in this for 2 cycles or 3 cycles like me, or more cycles than that, alt season, we all know, is something to be desired. It's definitely something that we've been highly anticipating, and it is coming. It's right around the corner. We're right at the forefronts of it right now. To talk about and really drive home the thought that I'm trying to promote in this video, we're going to use the others chart. For those of you that don't know what the others chart is, others is the total crypto market cap. It's like the S&P 500, but it excludes the top 10 coins, right? So it's the top 125 coins excluding the top 10, okay? We're going to use that chart to determine what the average altcoin's expected growth is going to be between now and the end of this next phase. And not just that, but what the average expectation might be between now and the end of the cycle. If that sounds good to you, hit the like button, subscribe. Let's get into it. All right, here we go. So here we are on this, the 13th of September. Altcoins on average are up about 9.5%, right? You see the percentage there, 9.5% this week. Some coins are down, some coins are neutral, some coins are up more than that. But it all averages out to about 9.5%, right? That's more or less what the average coin should be doing. The average coin also, if we look at it throughout this cycle, they're in a kind of slanted upwards ascension channel, right? Like an ascending channel there, right? That's essentially what it is, with a bit of neutrality since March of last year. Does that sound right for the average altcoin? Maybe not for all of them, not for your coin, not for every single coin, but for the average altcoin, this is kind of what they look like. We're on the precipice of greatness here, you guys. We're absolutely on the precipice of greatness. And what's going to happen is we're not just going to see highs above this, but we're going to see new all-time highs for the whole sector altogether. If we take this from a high to a low, that's not what I thought it was. I thought I was using the fibs here. Actually, I am kind of curious while we're doing that. What is that? That's about 80%. The average altcoin last bear market dropped 85%. Stick that in your back pocket for bear market season. Anyways, high to low here. The expectation now, being that we've interacted with the 786, 886 area once, we've done it now twice. I believe that this time we're not going to stop in this zone. No, we're going to go higher, at least to our minimum target, which would be the 1272, at most to our maximum target of the 1618, which is at about $1.65 trillion. This is our glorious box of profits. One might call it the glory box. That's where we're going to go. That's where we're venturing. That's the next target area. Is that the end of cycle target? Absolutely not. We'll get into that, but we got to work our way. You know, we got to work. We crescendo at the end. We don't start off with a bang, right? Some people do. It's I don't know. To each their own. But I like to build up to the ending stuff, right? Do that chronological order. I also like to stumble on my words. Apparently, it's a lack of sleep, man. I've noticed whenever I get a lack of sleep, I really do stumble on my words more. It's just a thing. Or if I'm intoxicated, but I've been very sober since May, actually. So I've had a few drinks since my daughter's been born. You know, a little bit of celebration here. It's football Sunday and stuff like that, you know. But anyways, excuses. But anyways, $330 billion right now. Enough about me. Let's talk about you. Next target area is here. Why do I believe that? Well, if we go, maybe not. Okay, I was about to say, here we go to the last cycle. We can see that from a high to a low, that our first kind of stopping point where we had was right here at the 1272 to the 1618. Now, that wasn't the end of the cycle. We did continue to press on, but in all fairness, last cycle was kind of weak, right? It was a very weak cycle. I think that while last cycle we did stop at the 1272 here on a weekly basis for about 3 weeks, we continued to run up to the golden ratio and we stopped there for a few months. I don't think that the golden ratio 1272 area this cycle is going to hold us up. I think that last cycle we got held up in this area where we should have progressed higher, but we had high rates of inflation around the world. Interest rates were climbing. It's hard to have a risk-on environment with that. There was quantitative tightening going on, also hard to have. M2 money supply was not building like it is now. The dollar was gaining strength, which is not good for risk-on environments either. Risk-on assets like crypto. What else? There's something else. COVID. Yeah, COVID. It was post-COVID times, right? We were dealing with all kinds of shenanigans from that as well. So I don't believe we're going to have this lull of a secondary leg. It'll actually be a secondary leg, if that makes sense. So anyways, last cycle, the first area that we stopped at from our cycle high to low, whenever we broke out, where was it? It was the 1272 to the 1618. That's where we stopped. And in fact, if we look at this, if I delete this fib so it's easier to see, we lived in this area for a good bit. Had one final finale and then all the way down, right? Building off of that fib even, I mean, looking at this, it would be pretty expected. It would be pretty exceptional. Not exceptional. It would be very normal. Expected. I don't know what, I feel like there's a word I'm missing here. Leave it in the comments if you know what word I'm going for. To go to the 1886 200 level. That's these purple lines here, okay? That's the next area in question. And it happens to be half of our glory box. It's literally the lower half, the glorious half of the glory box, any glory box, right? If we're looking at this here from a high to a low, our prior cycle's high to our bear market low here, the 1272 and the 14 are right there. Two of our targets in our glorious zone of boxness is that they are right here. They're right here. I'm going to delete this one now. We're going to delete this. I think that may imply that the average altcoin, the others chart, will not go to the 1618. A little bit of something, a little bit of fact here for you. And what do I know? This is my 10th year. I'm going into 10 years doing technical analysis, and the Fibonacci retracements and extensions are my bread and butter. This is what I grew up with. This is what I will die old with, right? I love the Fibonacci tool for a reason. So I know a little bit more than the average bull, than the average bear, okay? What I know is that typically with the 1272, you stop right at that area, okay? Typically with the 1618, you stop right at that area, maybe you wick a little bit above it. But with the 1414, typically you do go just above it. You don't go all the way above it, you don't go a tremendous amount above it, but you wick just above it, and you find resistance somewhere in that area, okay? In my expectation, I think it's completely called for to expect prices right around 1.1 trillion to 1. Let's say 2-3 trillion, little 1-2-3 action there by the end of this next phase. It's important. We're really dissecting this, getting deep into this zone, trying to analyze it. Look at that, the 1886 200 level right there lining up, the 1618 lining up right there at the 1272. It makes so much sense that we'd either stop just below or just above $1 trillion. And the reason why we're really trying to make sense out of this area is because when we take the current valuation of the total market cap, excluding the top 10, and we put it up to these areas, we should get what the average expected move would be across the space, at least in the top 125 coins. That would be anything on a low end of the scale of about a 2.5x, 150% growth. 2.5x is the minimum standard. If you're investing in a coin, in cryptocurrencies that are outside the top 10, even inside the top 10, really, if you're investing in cryptocurrencies that by the end of this next phase, which I think will be by the end of October, if not by the end of the year, if they're not at least doing a 2.5x, get out of them for the finale phase, right? Get out of them, right? And I mean, not financial advice, not a financial advisor, do whatever you want, but at this point in time, 2.5x or bust, okay? If it doesn't do a 2.5x, it's probably not going to, it's going to underperform for the rest of the cycle, right? And I would expect that even if this takes us until the end of the year to get here, that's not the end of the cycle. We still have 3 more months or 6 more months depending on what certain indicators look like. Okay, we'll see. But I expect that we will progress into 2026. If we're looking at that there, that's our minimum target, 2.5x. The next target would be about $1 trillion, but probably just above there. Let's do that 1, 2, 3. I like that. Let's do the 1, 2, or somewhere right there. That's about a 3.6x. So 2.5x to a 3.6x. That's the average expectation. If you have an altcoin that's doing a 4x or more, over this next phase, by the time the others chart is up in this area, if your coin is doing a 4x or more, you have a top performer. You have a top performing coin. Okay, and it will likely continue to top perform. Right? These are where the boys become men, the men become girls. Wait, no, the girls become ladies. Sorry. It is 2025. I'm off topic here. We're at a 400% growth here, which would be a 5x, all the way up at the golden ratio. That would be the highest that we'd expect, but in my opinion, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to go there other than it is at the golden ratio, and to be fair, that's kind of what we did last time as well. Maybe October, we're in this 1414 to 1272 area, and then end of year, we're all the way up here. However it comes out to be, if you have a coin that is outperforming this high expectation, right? We've got the low end of average, the high end of average, the average end of average in our glory box, right? If you've got something that exceeds a 5x by the end of this year, don't let it go. Don't let it go, man. I mean, maybe, let it go whenever it's the bear market or the end of the bull market, ideally, right? But maybe don't hold it all the way through the bull market or the bear market, but don't let it go, because there's going to be more growth to go, and it's probably going to continue to outperform the average altcoin. That's all I'm trying to say. Okay. Now let's talk about, so this is the next phase. And again, when do I expect us to hit this box? We're probably going to hit the low end by the end of October. We're going to hit the higher end by the end of the year, if not even beyond that by the end of the year, right? We'll see. Time will tell. Ultimately, I believe that this chart, this valuation, the others chart, will inevitably grow not just to the $1.65 trillion level, but the $5.93 trillion level, and even beyond that. I think that we will see a $6 trillion market cap for the top 125, excluding the top 10. I think that's what's going to happen. I believe that the crypto market as a whole is going to experience a $20 trillion market cap whenever this cycle is all said and done, if not more, okay? And with that $6 trillion, that would imply then, and the reason why I think we're going to hit the 2272 is because Bitcoin, out of its last 3 bull cycles in a row, have hit the 2272. The last bull cycle hit the 1618, and we were robbed of hitting the 2272 for all the reasons we were robbed back here. I think we were supposed to keep growing, but the world economy, the markets of the world had other plans, unfortunately, right? Again, quantitative tightening, high interest rates, post-COVID era, high inflation rates, strengthen the dollar. None of that is good for a risk-on environment, right? Not conducive for growth as far as markets and assets go, okay? We don't have any of that now. In fact, we've got the exact opposite of all of that happening right now. And I think that that's going to allow the price to really grow and see what we've seen in the prior cycles, which is the 2272 come into existence, right? If not, maybe the 2.79 or 2.79 trillion, the 1886, but I would think that we do see this level. That would provide that the average altcoin between now and the end of the cycle, again, we probably go a little bit above the 2272. You typically don't stop at it. You go a little bit above it. The average altcoin would then see something on the lines of about an 18 to a 21x, okay? Something in that area. 18 to 21x by the end of the cycle. So if you're looking at coins, and not financial advice, not a financial advisor, I'm not the end-all be-all for crypto knowledge here. But what we've deduced from this analysis, essentially, is that if you're looking at coins that have the expectation of seeing a less than 20x growth by the end of the cycle, you're invested in whatever coin it is. Let's say it's, I don't know, let's say it's SWI. What's SWI's price right now? What are we at there for SWI? Let me check it out. Hold on. Let me see if it'll load for me. You guys hear my daughter? She's like, oh no, we're going down. I think she's pretending that she's in a spaceship. There's a movie that had a spaceship on it. Let's see. Let's pretend. Can you guys see this? No, I don't think I changed. Let me bring this up for you. Okay, so SWI, right? SWI's at $3.74. If people have targets by the end of the cycle that are less than 60, would it be $65? $70? It'd be less than $70, yeah. If it's like less than $74 technically, that would be less than a 20x. If there are targets less than a 20x for SWI, if people are telling you by end of cycle it could be at $10, by end of cycle it could be at $20, I'd be like, so what? That's not impressive. You know what I mean? It's not a 20x. It should be a 20x or more. That's what should have your appetite, right? That's what you should be looking for, are coins that will do a 20x or more by the end of the cycle, because I don't think that it's going to be hard to find, right? I think that really it's easy to avoid coins that will underperform the average altcoin, right? What you need to look for are coins that are, in the top 100, that have been around for multiple cycles, that have lower market caps, right? What you're looking for is not coins that are in the top 100, in the top 20, and oh my god, okay, they're not in their first bull market. Damn it, man, I'm getting all distracted because my daughter's yelling. She's just having fun though. What you're looking for are coins that have been around for multiple cycles, that are in the top 100 or top 200, that have lower market caps, right? What you're not looking for are coins that are having their first bull market and already have a multi-billion-dollar valuation. If there's a coin out there that's got a multi-billion-dollar valuation right now, and it's their first bull market. They haven't had a bear market, or they haven't had a bull. Specifically, they haven't had a bull market yet. I don't care if they've had a bear market. They need to have a bull market. Then I would stay away from them personally, or at least I wouldn't have a heavy hand in them, right? Maybe to hedge against other things, they're probably going to be safer bets. But you know, like I think SWI, Hype, Solana, those are going to be safe bets. But I just don't think they're going to. I think they're going to get outperformed by the average altcoins. So I'm going to end my video there because I'm getting distracted, and I don't know how much of that you guys can hear, but I'm gonna end the video there. So hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Okay, take care of yourselves. Bye bye. And if you have kids, give them a big old hug, man. They love hugs, man. Give them love. Give them tons of love, because you never know whenever you're not going to be able to do that anymore. You know. That being said, rest in peace, Mr. Charlie Kirk. You have been on my mind, and I'm sure a lot of our minds over the past couple of days. And while it's really sad what happened, I have a lot of faith that we're going to come out on top of this, you guys. As a people, as a country, I think that we're going to come out on top. I think that there's going to be a lot of good that emanates in the world. It's emanating in the world now. Can you feel it? I can freaking feel it. Let your kids feel it, man. Give them a big old hug. Give them a big old freaking hug. I love you all. Take care. Bye-bye.